They are capable of re-releasing games on the Switch. Good too. Just not the ones I care about.
It's not the Wind Waker.
Just not Wind Waker.
Live, and I can edit and post. Now you can hear me. Congratulations. Yay. Thank you, G. You beautiful, beautiful being. Remember, we now talk to chat during podcasts. Like, that's the thing we do. So if you want to chat with us live, make sure you join the live.
Please do.
I don't know why the microphone wasn't set up. It worked yesterday just fine.
Hey, for you pulling that costume together 2 seconds before stream started, pretty good.
Right? It didn't hurt. It was easy. Thanks to my wife for reminding me I had some of this stuff. One of these things actually came from Crazy G. I still have it. It's dead. I need to charge it, but I have it.
Thank you, G. Thank you for liking my hand accessories.
Yeah, she
my
told
gloves
me
don't match my jacket, but
I need to make this abundantly clear. She told me last minute, like literally with 2 minutes to go.
Well, my plan was actually there was no plan. I have tomorrow at work, we have kids who come in and trick or treat. So I needed something for tomorrow. So I bought this witch hat, and then I got the gloves, and then I actually just owned this already. And then when I started getting ready for podcast, I was like, actually, I should just put on my hat. And then I fully committed to the bit. And by the time I sat down, I was like, oh yeah, Blake, by the way, this is what I decided 2 seconds ago.
I felt one-upped. I almost went and grabbed my Santa hat that I have in my closet in retaliation. I will say this. We made a joke last podcast that we've been good and we've been not missing weeks to only miss a week the next week.
That was on me. I don't know about you guys, but the allergy season has been very rough for some of us, and my sinuses were horrific last Wednesday, and I felt awful.
Now you know how I feel every day.
Well, I live with a dog and cat that I'm allergic to, so please don't try to one-up me on
that's what I do. I'm a Mario. That's what I literally do.
Oh, you're right. You're right. How dare you?
I'm giving into the bit, Em. Jeez. Cool. We're going to do 2 reviews today, but obviously we have to jump into the other stuff. First thing I want to actually ask, because Emily just finished Dragon Age Inquisition, and I don't know if I'm actually going to touch it yet or not. I want to see what she thought of Inquisition. Is it 10 years ago? Was it 2013 when it came out? It was a long time ago.
It's been like 10 or more years. Something along those lines. As Blake said, I just beat Dragon Age Inquisition over the weekend, and it was phenomenal. It was a very good game. I was so into it by the end. If anything, I was telling my friend the friend who wanted me to play it, I wished I had played it a long time ago and I had more time with it. I think maybe I would have gone slower and appreciated some aspects of the game a little more, simply because I was on a time crunch with Veilguard literally coming out tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I had to look at some things in the eye and be like, I cannot care about you because I have to move on with this game. So in hindsight, I would have liked a little more time with it, but I put about 70 hours in. Damn. I finished the whole main quest. I do still technically have one DLC that's like 4 hours left to beat. But I did most of the side stuff. It's a great game. It's a very good game. And I'm very excited to see what Veilguard is going to be like. I know a lot of the characters. Also, something to compliment Dragon Age for, and this wasn't something I truly knew, is that yes, all the games are connected, but the characters actually reappear in all the games despite like having different protagonists each game. So like the protagonist from the second Dragon Age game came into this game and had a pretty big role, and at one point you can even get them killed.
Oh, lovely.
So there's a sneaking suspicion that based on a choice you make like not even three quarters, like 90% of the way through Inquisition, that your Inquisitor might potentially die in Veilguard or have something really bad happen to them based on a choice you made.
Speaking about sneaking things, the chat can't see that Bean is sneaking at the bottom of your screen there.
Right here. Mimi, welcome, say hi.
New incomers in the chat. Hi, Juice. How you doing? What's going on?
It is a time crunch. I did my best. I say time crunch. I've been playing this game for like 3 months, so I can't even like really say a time crunch shit, but it was really slow for me to get into it. Emily, you play Dragon Age Inquisition, you know what I'm talking about with the hinterlands. It's rough.
Emily has a life and does things outside of gaming. It's kind of gross.
Sometimes.
Cool. Let's jump into the news, and then we have 2 reviews to do. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer episode. Plus, I think that makes sense to make up for last week's miss.
I just want to say the original plan for this week's episode, before we had to push back, was to talk about the scariest games. And I'm absolutely devastated that that is no longer happening on Halloween.
I was going to actually bring up one of the scariest movies ever. Have you ever watched the Disney Channel original movie, Don't Look Under the Bed?
Yes.
That movie is horrifying. I haven't watched it since I was a kid. They don't air it anymore.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid either.
That just destroyed me. I think that's what made me hate horror more than anything, was that specific film.
Mine was Scream.
Yes, I do know the Scream story. You know what? That one's valid. That one's supposed to be scary. Not a Disney Channel original movie about the boogeyman.
Yeah, that's a weird take. That's a weird take, but I'll give it to you.
Dude, were you not scared of it as a child?
You know, I haven't seen it probably 10 plus years. I remember being freaked out by it, but not in the way that it really stayed with me. To be fair, I saw, like, Scream when I was 8. So that really trademarked the scariest thing I'd ever seen for me pretty early on in my life. So anything else apart from that was like, oh, maybe that's a little scary, but it will never be Scream.
There are 2, from what I understand, because somebody said, oh, Disney can't do something scary, and they brought up this Disney film from the 80s that's also horrifying. I don't remember the name of it, but I immediately was like, also, Don't Look Under the Bed, and so was everybody in the comments of that video I watched.
It's a scary kids movie. I'll give you that one. It's a scary kids movie.
I don't want to rewatch it. I think I'll pass. I think my trauma can't handle that. Let's jump into the news, baby. First and foremost, more on Dragon. I almost said Dragon Quest. Dragon Age. Review scores came in, and they're all pretty decent. A lot of 9s and 10s. Weirdly, couple 6s. It's a weird mix. Like, I didn't really see any 7, 8s. I saw 9s, 10s, 6. So
yeah, I haven't really seen anything super negative about it. I've heard maybe like some of the technical stuff is a tad outdated, but otherwise that it's a very good game. So I'm excited. I'm gonna be playing it. Hopefully pick up a copy tomorrow if I can get my hands on one and go through it. Also, something I wanted to mention in terms of playing video games, tomorrow is Halloween, and I did promise all of you that I might potentially stream PT on podcast on Halloween. So I'll see if I can get my hands on PT and be here either tomorrow on our podcast or on my channel for...
Just get the PC port. I'll help you find the PC port.
Well, no, because Tia has the original PT.
Oh, so you're going to have to move her PS4?
Yeah, I'm going to steal her PS4 if she'll allow it. Because that one, like PC, there's no such thing as a port. There's like 1-for-1 rebuilds. Yeah. But I don't trust the AI in the rebuilds to scare me the way Lisa's AI in the real one does. So
and the baby in the sink.
I want to cry. I want to cry. Which I will anyway. The moment the game starts and I walk in the first hallway, I'll probably start crying. But it's okay.
Biggest blunder Konami ever did was getting rid of Kojima because he didn't make mobile games.
Fumble Kojima. How do you fumble Hideo Kojima? Sorry, this isn't news. It's just a funny thing I saw the other day where Hideo Kojima appeared in a video game and he posted about it. He's like, I was so happy to be able to have the chance to play Hideo Kojima. It was a great role. And somebody responded, was like, are you going to like reprise this character? And he was like, no.
No, I saw that. I seen that. Kojima's a mastermind. Dude is hysterical. He's wonderful.
PT's so bad too, Jews. I just beat Silent Hill 2, as you know. It was a good game, but the fear level does not even come close to PT.
On to other legendary game makers. Masahiro Sakurai, the original creator for Kirby and all the Super Smash Brothers games. Very regarded at Nintendo. He's been doing this long series on a YouTube channel, like about making games and his creative process. In this last video, it literally is the last video he's doing on there. And he came out and he looked older than normal. And people realized he recorded all these YouTube videos like 2 years ago and was just releasing them periodically. So he looked older. That's ending. But he also ended up hinting that something is coming that he's created. And people are like, oh, it's going to be the next Smash for Switch 2. Or he's doing something original, maybe Kirby related. or something new. So I'd be
Fun.
excited to see what he does. He makes good games. We can't deny, even if you're not into Smash, he's made a huge like dent in the fighting game scene, and has one of the most iconic Nintendo characters of all time under his
Yeah,
belt.
anybody who's made Kirby and Smash Bros, they've earned it. They've earned the rights.
And anybody who somehow gets them, convinces Disney to put Sora in Smash is a legend in my book.
Hero. An absolute hero.
And the last bit of news I have is still Nintendo related.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. Some leaker. I put leaker in quotes because they were not a very good leaker. They put a website up with a timer for the release of the Switch 2 when it was going to be announced. Right, and it kept being like a couple days and a few hours. And it was supposed to be announced this week by that timer. Whenever it didn't get announced, that timer reset. And obviously it came out to be a hoax. It was nothing more than disappointment. So instead, Nintendo announced through their Twitter account that they're releasing Xenoblade Chronicle X from the 3DS to the Switch. So good job, Nintendo. You did announce something.
So they are capable of re-releasing games on the Switch. Good too. Just not the ones I care about.
Just not the Wind Waker.
Just not Wind Waker. Oh, I actually have a piece of news.
Yeah, all right.
If I have any fellow Disney Dreamlight Valley fans out there, or in case you didn't get a chance to see it, they hosted a showcase yesterday to detail the new DLC and the coming year of releases. They unveiled a lot, which I'm super excited about. But the next DLC is going to be called Storybrooke Vale, which is a new fantasy world that is split in half between Maleficent and Hades. So there's Mythopia, which is a Olympus, Hercules-inspired world, and then a magical fairy tale forest. And we're going to be getting Merida, Flynn Rider, Hades, Maleficent, and Sleeping Beauty. And then in the coming characters, in the free updates, we're going to be getting Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas is coming next. And then we are getting Aladdin and Jasmine, who I know is Blake's favorite.
I do like Aladdin and Jasmine.
Alice in Wonderland. And then Peter Pan.
Okay.
They also announced, sorry not to cut you off, they also announced that they're going to be adding floating islands or floating biomes to the main valley to make more space for a lot of people who are complaining about the valleys getting too tight. There's going to be new furniture customization options. So there is a whole slew of things coming to Dreamlight Valley in the next couple months. The DLC drops November 20th, if you're interested.
So you said floating islands. So Skyward Sword 2 confirmed.
Yes. I think this is as close as I'll ever get.
Well, without further ado, we have 2 reviews to do, which is going to take a long time. And for the first review, it's not just me. It's also not Emily, because Emily doesn't have it.
I'm not here for this at all.
Emily has no reviews today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my wife, Allison. Allison, you can unmute now.
Woo!
Woo!
We're so happy to have her here.
I would just like to make an editor's note. Emily said that Jasmine is Blake's favorite. I would just like to challenge you and say I am actually Blake's favorite.
Are you a Disney? Are you a Disney princess?
She absolutely is. How dare you tell her that your wife?
What do you
Tell your wife she's a princess.
I'm gonna get canceled on my own show by my own wife. Oh God.
And I'd have it no other.
Meant Aladdin, but you're absolutely right, Allison.
All right. That being said, Mario Party Jamboree came out. It was 2 weeks ago now. Nintendo's still doing weirdly Thursday releases. It's another Mario Party game, huh?
I think Thursday's weird.
Most games come out Fridays, though. I guess Dragon Age
Veilguard comes out tomorrow. Silent Hill 2 and Until Dawn came out on Thursdays.
I guess everyone's switching to Thursdays. I don't know. That's weird to me.
I don't know. I think Thursday's a new it. It's a new thing.
Whatever. It's fine. Mario Party Jamboree was released about 2 weeks ago tomorrow. It is another Mario Party game. It has all the things that you would come to expect. It has new boards, a whole slew of new mini games, but it also has a ton of different modes. There is a 20-person online race mode. There's a single player like mission based campaign that's very interesting. There's an achievement system, and that's how you unlock things. There's a lot of things to do. I'm going to go ahead and let Allison start with all of the things that she really enjoyed about it and talk about it a little bit more.
Please, when you give your opinion, please tell me who you are playing as, what your favorite character is.
Oh, I'm going to say something controversial here. Lately, I have been playing as Birdo when I play in the 20-person online, which is controversial. If anyone knows me, I am a Luigi stan, if you will.
It is. It's true. This is a very big switch for her.
You heard it here on this podcast first, y'all.
Allison has swapped from a Luigi stand to a Birdo stand. It is making national news. My jaw dropped when I heard the news.
Now, granted, this all probably started because my brother's also a Luigi stan, and to get around controversy, potential controversy.
That's when you just fist fight. If you're not willing to fist fight for your favorite character the way my sister and I did for Yoshi when I was a child, not a stan.
What up, Poots? Go ahead, Allison.
Yeah, Allison, share your thoughts.
I guess I'll start with the bad, if that's okay. There really isn't much bad. The only real negative I have of the game is the Mario Kart map, which is quite subpar.
That's disappointing.
If Blake has thoughts as well about that course.
Yeah, the problem with the Mario Kart map is it's one of those maps where the star only swaps between two places. I would also imagine it's probably one of the smallest maps. There are a couple twists to it. Like there are certain places you can land that shoot you to another part of the racetrack, which can either help or hinder you depending on where you are and what direction it's going at that time. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to avoid all that. The only, I think, redeeming quality is they have a cool 4 dice block specific to that map. It's called a turbo boost. And you can go, up to 4 dice blocks. But the problem is if you use that, you don't get to stop at any shops. You don't get to stop at the star. You just keep going until you get to your last spot.
So if you roll too much, you're in danger of missing it, the star.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And you can't, the boo element of being able to steal coins or a star, that you also go by as well.
Okay, that feels like high risk, high reward. Or high risk. Yeah, high risk, high reward.
It all just depends. The other issue with it, so the way that the stars work, at the top of the map, there's a divergence. There's a top path and a lower path that you take, and the star switches between those two. So if you're really close to getting that star, and then somebody, on the top path, and then somebody happens to go by you and steal that, get that star before you do, you have no chance of going to the lower path. It's too late. You're too far gone, unless you're able to teleport or something.
Okay, interesting.
Allison, continue.
I will say my favorite map to change course here is I believe it's called the Galleria. It's like a mall, and it's a 3-story mall. It's very fun. They have a lot of different shops that you can go to. The only thing that I dislike about the shop element is you have to actually land on one or two of the spaces in front of the store to shop there.
That's dependent on the shop, though. So some shops you can go past. Others, the higher end ones, you have to land on.
Correct, yeah. Like a Boo Bell store, or like they have a golden store where you can buy a golden pipe. What was it, like the golden dice, so they have a new dice element. I can't remember what it's called, but they're golden dice, and there's 2 of them. And whatever you roll, you also get that amount in coins, which is really nice.
Oh, okay. I did see you guys play a little bit of the mall one, and that one also you had stamps you collected, right? That looked really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you go around the map collecting different stamps, and then at the end of back on the first floor, there is a part where you can redeem your full stamp card for 50 coins, which is nice as well.
And if you don't fill it out, and let's say you only have 1 stamp, you get 10 coins for every stamp until you hit 4, and then you get 50. So there are a myriad of other courses as well. They have the Goomba's Lagoon, which is a volcano style map where with high and low tide. The thing that gets really annoying with this course, but it's still a lot of fun, it causes chaos, is that when you have high tide, some of the pathways cut off. So if you're stuck on an island when that high tide's there and you can't cross it, you're stuck. You go in circles and it's hysterical.
No, I like that.
It makes it a lot of fun. There's also like you can pass a volcano, and when you pass that volcano, one of two things can happen. Either a bunch of golden Goombas come out, and if that happens, you get a coin for everyone you pass. If it's lava, you lose coins for everyone you pass.
Okay.
The last one is the most generic one. It's the Wigglers. I forgot what it's called. It's a Wiggler map. What's it called, Allison?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called either, but it's your beginner, quote unquote, beginner map, the one you're supposed to start with.
It's a very decent course. Like, it's not a bad course for a generic. Like, if you just want to play base Mario Party at its purest form without doing an older map, it was something new, this is the way to go. There is a wiggler in the middle. There's a way that wiggler can move around and create shortcuts or hindrances depending where it is. That wiggler can get mad, and then all of its spaces on its back become bad luck spaces and Bowser spaces. There's a lot of pieces to it, but it's very, very decent for a first for a base course.
It kind of has a Woody Woods feeling,
Oh,
but
okay.
no day and night element, but it has a similar feeling to that course.
The only course we haven't played, we've also technically played the release of the two new courses. I'm sorry, the two courses from the original Mario parties. So Western Land from Mario Party 2 and Mario's Rainbow course, I think is what it's called, from Mario Party 1. Both are.
I remember that course.
Yeah, you go to the same.
Very pretty.
Yeah, you go to the same tower, and it's either the star or it's a Bowser, depending when you get there. It's chaotic. It's very chaotic.
Peach's birthday cake?
That's Mario Party Superstars, and that also
Same element though, Emily, of
Pretty
like
fun. That's
the
Mario Party
stores.
1.
Yeah, it came from Mario Party 1 initially.
I don't remember the rainbow one from Mario Party 1.
I will send you the picture of it.
Is it not from 1 potentially?
It is. It is absolutely from 1.
I don't even remember it.
Mario Party's Rainbow Castle is what it's called.
Hmm.
I'm just sending you a link. In
It is that same element though, Emily, of the star stays in the same place, and that you're visiting either Bowser or the star,
depending on its
depending on what's active. Yeah.
Allison gave her cons. I'm gonna real quick go through my cons.
Wait, did she have any other cons? She said she had a couple, but then
did you
I
have
just
more?
kind of checked to make sure she sent them.
No, that's really the biggest one that I've had so far. Is that course? Yeah, like mentioned, there's also Western Land too. There is one course we have not played because we haven't unlocked it yet. You have to get like to basically platinum status, which is I think the highest ranking of beating certain achievements to get to it. It's like a Bowser course.
Oh, cool.
There's also two characters you unlock which we haven't gotten. That's the Ninja and that's Pauline.
Always spoil it, play.
I mean,
Pauline.
it's very easy to see who they are. I guess that's the best place for me to start for my cons then. The first major con I have, it's not the achievement system itself. I think the achievements are cool for certain things you have to do to unlock, characters and stuff. Like some of them are as simple as play your first game, win your first game, get your first star. Some of them are real simple. Some of them are incredibly niche. One specifically, I don't know if Allison ended up getting it. I don't think I'm ever going to get it. It's be in last place before the home stretch section. You know, that section where Toad comes out and says, this is the standings, you know, 5 turns left.
The last 5 turns.
Be in 4th place then, and then get to 1st place at the end.
That's an impressive turnaround, Allison.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, that is, there are other niche ones. I ended up getting one, have a Jamboree buddy and hit a Bowser space. Some of these are not like something you can just pull off pretty easily. Some of them are so specific depending on what's going on. Other ones, once again, most of them for the most part make sense. Get this Jamboree buddy, use their effect. I'm fine with those. But the very, very specific ones that are just almost impossible to pull off unless you somehow plan it, it's kind of ridiculous, and there's quite a few of them. I'm not a fan of those specifically.
Can I jump in real quick
Yes.
before you continue with any more of your cons? And can I just have you back up like 2 steps
No.
and just give a very brief 2 to 3 sentence overview of what Mario Party Jamboree is? Because you're talking about the Jamboree element, and I'm not sure, or like have a Jamboree buddy, and I'm not sure what the Jamboree aspect to Mario Party Jamboree is.
Yes. Easy. So the Jamboree buddy is what makes it a Jamboree. Obviously, there's all the other side games you can do. But the main element...
No, not obviously. Not obviously. What are the other side games? Like, tell me.
We haven't played them all, but we'll go over those later. We'll go over those after we talk about Jamboree Buddies. Okay, so Jamboree Buddies, biggest change to Mario Party. They're kind of like the friend system you had in Super Mario Party, where you get the ally phone, you can call an ally, and you have an extra character with you. You roll extra dice with them, you get their dice block. It was weird in Super Mario Party, but it made sense. In Super Mario Party Jamboree, they changed it up a bit. So randomly, instead of landing on an ally space or getting an ally phone and getting another person with you, this time they will randomly spawn on the map at different intervals.
So your Jamboree buddy is not another player.
Correct. It's not.
Okay.
It's just another ally you can get. And it's not permanent either. So they land on the map. Somebody has to pass it. Now, just because somebody passes it doesn't mean they get that Jamboree buddy. So whoever passes them, they get 5 coins for passing them. And then they get a substantial bonus into the next part we're going to talk about, which is the Jamboree minigames. Anytime you pass a Jamboree buddy, you have to fight for who gets that buddy. Best example, Luigi's mini game is based off Luigi's Mansion. You're going through a series of rooms solving puzzles to get to the end of the mansion, right?
Okay.
Donkey Kong's, you're playing Donkey Konga rhythm game. Daisy's, you're playing Fall Guys. I don't know how else to explain it.
What?
Mario, you're playing classic mini games from Mario Party 1, 2, and 3, etc. Like they all have their own different mini games. Like I already said, whoever runs into them, you get a substantial benefit. So if you're doing Luigi's, for example, out of the 10-room gauntlet you have to go through, whoever ran into the Jamboree buddy gets to skip the first room and just be ahead of everybody else. And for Daisy, you get like 9 points at the beginning of the game, where everybody else starts at 0. It's different like that. Once the mini game is over, you determine whoever has the most points gets that Jamboree buddy. That Jamboree buddy gives you a myriad of benefits, but also a myriad of negatives.
Why?
I'll explain. Let me explain.
Okay.
Let's talk about the positives. First.
Okay, no, sorry, you can finish your cons if you want. I just wanted to lay out a foundation for what the Jamboree was.
Oh, no, we're not done talking about the Jamboree buddies. We got to go into the details of what, because you don't just get them. They don't just sit there. If you have a Jamboree buddy, let's say you land on a blue space to get your 3 coins. Your Jamboree buddy reactivates it, gives you 3 coins, additional 3 coins. It doubles up on good luck spaces. It doubles up. If you pass a star, you can buy 2 stars if you have the coin for it. You double up on everything. If you go to an item shop, you can buy 2 items. But there also is a negative to having that Jamboree buddy. If you land on a red space, you lose 6 coins versus the only 3. If you land on a Bowser space, you have to visit Bowser twice.
Right. That's crazy.
It's insane, but it's so chaotic and so fun, and I love it. I love every minute of it. Allison, do you want to add anything to the Jamboree buddy?
You can buy 2 stars as well if you have the 40 coins, which is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is a really nice perk.
And
so, like, they don't move away, and then you have to go find them again. You can buy 2 right on the spot.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
If you can.
Okay.
The way that it's not busted, because that thing can be busted, is that there is a turn limit to it. You only have that Jamboree buddy for 3 turns from the moment you get it, right? So use it wisely. The best way I've used it is I had over 100 coins, I passed a boo, and I stole 2 stars because I was able to.
That's evil. Who did you steal them from?
One of them was Chase, and then nobody else had a star, so the other was Allison because she's the only other person with the star.
He knows what he did.
Right. You live to tell the tale.
I did not die that night, nor did I sleep on the couch. Chase still won that whole game. It was kind of nonsense. So yeah, that's the Jamboree buddy element. The other
explain.
The other side things like the mini game, the side modes you can do, like I already said, there's like a single player mode where you're on a map, and you're running around the map like you're playing Mario Party without rolling dice, and you're running into Goombas and Koopas who are asking you to find things for them or play mini games to complete tasks for them. It's just a fun little way to just kind of,
Sure.
if you have nothing else to do, if you want to play Mario Party. Allison's played the 20-player mode more than I have. I've only played it once, so I'll let her talk about that one.
Yes, please tell me all about it. Is it terrible? Is it great?
So it's not what I wanted it to be, but I did end up liking it. I truly thought it was going to be like a chaos, like Mario Party, like maybe a smaller course, but like we're all playing at the same time. In
Yeah.
hindsight, that would have taken hours, like of a turn, or they would have had to shorten in some way. Anyway, it's these other like mini games that you culminate, like whoever's finishing first through whatever 20th, I suppose then. But like one of the games is you're cooking these croissants, and different croissants are worth different points. You have to grab them before they burn. What is that? One is like a Pong game where you have to like clear a Mario out, and like this special shell that you can get can clear more.
You're clearing Mario's out? Are we taking over? Are we conquering the land?
I mean, think Pong, but then like a Mario shape.
Oh,
Maybe I'm not
okay.
describing it very well, but
No,
so
no, I see what you're saying.
you have a shell that you're trying to hit different blocks at. And those are just a couple of them. But then you every 3 games you have a Bowser mini game where you can move back like 10 to 15 spaces depending on how high your ranking is. You'll move farther back if you don't survive the Bowser game. And you keep going until I think you do 5 laps around this, maybe like 100 space map. But for every coin you get, you move a space. So it's not as
Interesting.
long as like I would say maybe it takes like 10 minutes max.
Okay, so it's not like, because when they said you can play up to 20 players, I think I envisioned what you did, Allison, which was literally just a standard game of Mario Party with 20 people, which I was like, that
No,
sounds
me too.
miserable, to be quite honest. I know maybe that sounds like your dream to me. That sounds like you wait 45 minutes to get to your turn, and then you roll a dice block and get to move 3 spaces and you're done.
No, maybe they could have done teams or something, but yeah, no. In hindsight, I don't know how they would have pulled off. You would have had to been playing at the same time, like it was other
Yeah.
people. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, but that's fun. It's been I've been trying to get my rank up. I think I'm at a rank B.
Ooh.
In 2 weeks, which some people were already like at a rank S, and I'm like, maybe they just don't have lives.
They don't have lives, Allison. They don't go to work. They don't go to work. They stay home all day and play Mario Party.
Or they
You
do
are
go to
doing it.
work and they just play games while they're working.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that could be as well.
Cool. I guess we can go back to the cons now. Back to my
Yeah.
negatives. So yeah, I said the
in a
one
long
thing.
roundabout way.
Yeah. The main negative I did have, one, I agree with Allison. I don't think the racing course is bad, but I think it's lackluster. It's just kind of there. It's fine if you want to be on that map. I think you can still have fun with it, but it's just kind of play. The specific achievements that are going to be near impossible unless a very specific situation happens. That's annoying. Also, the fact if you're playing all on the same Switch, and if somebody else achieves that, you don't get that achievement. You have to do it. The person who, like the main, whoever's player 1 has to accomplish it, and that sucks.
Okay.
It's kind of a pain in the ass, but what can you do? What else was negative? There's not a.
I have a con.
Oh, sure. You don't own it?
Can I say my con?
That you don't own it? Yeah, go ahead.
No, my con is that I don't own it, but I watched you and Allison play for a little bit, and my one con was that, we talked about this in chat too. You know the lady who in the old games used to be like, chance time!
Oh, yeah!
Or like,
I forgot!
God.
You're right!
There's
No!
like a lady who says it, but she's like, chance time.
It's not even just her voice. It's the fact that every single time you go to a new turn, she just goes, it's a new turn. Like, I know, lady. I've played Mario Party before. Chill!
Her voice is so boring and standard. I miss the new record, lady.
New record!
Bring that petition. Okay, I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had one con and I wanted to share it. That was all I know.
You reminded me of it. You reminded me of it. That was a big one for me. Though Allison hates whenever I go new record.
But it's so funny. What about Allison? Did you hate when she said Jets time?
No, I didn't hate that. I dislike when Blake does it. I don't hate it by
Oh,
itself.
that's fair. That's fair. It's completely different when Blake does it.
Chance time.
She also tells you when Bowser's coming, like as well. I can't remember exactly what she says, but like, oh no, here comes Bowser or something. Like
British are coming.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what it feels like. So I'm like,
British are coming. British are coming.
To answer Juice's question, saying no new record, no, she goes, it's a new record. Like the most bland.
yeah, it's very lackluster. Yeah.
That is so devastating.
It's not fun. It's not great. We'll jump into pros. Because yeah, that was essentially my last con. Allison, go with your pros, and we'll talk about favorite mini games and then final score.
Oh,
Yes.
that's mainly what I have. I will say is just left to talk about mini games. I think overall it is really fun. I think it is one of the better Mario parties to come out recently. Hot take: I didn't love the past couple Mario parties. Or not hate, but I did really like this one more than the past two on the Switch. I will say.
It sounds like they did something new and unique with it, which was kind of like a take on something they had in the older games, but they like refreshed it and made it better.
Yeah,
They did
no, I
something
would
a
say
little
so.
different.
And then I will talk about them in a moment, but I think there are really a lot of really good mini games too in this one that from what I've read from the reviews I did look at, that seems to be like how a Mario Party is well received on its mini games.
I mean, mini games can make or break a Mario Party. If they're not good, what's the point?
Totally agree.
I would also throw in the mini games are good. I also am happy they're going back to form with maps. Because if you look at how 9 and 10 were handled with the car, I didn't love that. I know Allison likes 9, but 9 wasn't for me with the car, and 10 is I didn't even play it because of the car. If you go to Super Mario Party, the mini games were great, but the maps were so bland and boring. There was nothing going on. It just
Agreed.
it didn't feel worth it. And then Mario Party Superstars, it's very good, but that's because it's a rehash of every mini game and map from the older Mario parties that were actually
It's nothing
good.
new.
It's the greatest hits, if you will.
But with these maps, they really went back to being creative. I felt like I was playing Mario Party 4 again, or Mario Party 6 or 3 or 2, whatever. I just loved every single, even the one that I said was lackluster. It's still a good map. All the maps are really, really creative, and you can tell they actually put heart into these. Along with bringing back old ones, like, hey, we're not just going to give you 5 maps and saying that's it. Like, here's some more that you used to play on before. Here's
They didn't let you dress up.
I know that's still. I didn't play the original Mario Party 2 as a kid, so I was not affected by that like the rest of you were. But I understand. I understand. I think the last time they made creative maps was Mario Party 8, and even though 8's still not my cup of tea, I can at least appreciate the maps were creative and there was like heart in them, and they were actually fun to do. This one, they did a really, really good job of the maps. I can't wait to unlock that last one. To see what it's about. I think it's got some of the best maps in Mario Party to date. I also agree with Allison. The mini games, for the most part, are fun. The new ones, they have some old ones in there. They have Domination, which is a classic one. You know, the one where you smash A and all the thwomps come up, the stacks. There's the basketball one from Mario Party 4 that I adore, but that's because I'm a Mario Party 4 stan and I have problems.
One of my favorite mini games from any Mario Party that only came back in one Mario Party, I think Mario Party 2, was Platform Peril.
I think that's on here. That's on. We haven't played it yet, but it's on this list. It is on this list.
Don't you dare lie to me.
I'm looking at the list. Yep, Platform Peril. It's on here. Yeah, it is. Oh yeah, no, I have played it. It's the coin mini.
Emily, you've got to buy this game now.
Was it a coin mini game in the original Mario Party 2?
Yeah, you could jump and get coins.
Yeah, it's a coin mini game. It is still here. We played it multiple times. I played it last night on stream. I
like when everybody wins coin mini game.
Huh?
You know, like those coin mini games where you're just collecting coins and then it's like the time is up and you get however many coins you collected?
It's that type of mini game.
That's not what it was.
Oh, then yeah, they changed it to a coin mini game, but it's still like if you
Do the
fall off, you're
platforms
done.
fall?
Oh, the platforms still fall. They still fall.
Okay. And
It's
there's
the
still
same
one
to-
winner who gets the 10 coins.
You know, everybody gets all the coins they collected, but if you fall off, then you kind of screw yourself and you get the least amount of coins.
Oh, so there's no
I think when I played yesterday, everyone else got like 9 and I got 24. And that was the only mini game I did really well in against them. I remember that specifically. I need to play the other modes more. I think I'm happy with the offering they have for the other modes that I need to try. There's the cooperative 4-player cooperative mode, which is like controlling to move a ball around to the end. It's like Toad's Workshop. It's essentially the idea of like how they create the dice for Mario Party in the game. So I kind of like how they kind of tied the theme in there. For a 4-player cooperative. There's Bowser's Big Boom, where you're playing with a bunch of people online to defeat what they call Imposter Bowser. They have to call him Imposter Bowser because you can play as Bowser. So I has to play that one. The 20 we already talked about the 20-player, and I kind of touched on the single-player experience already. There's just a lot to do in here. Oh, and the last one is a rhythm game. There is a 4-player rhythm game. It's a kitchen rhythm game that I really want to try as well.
We have not touched that yet.
Yeah. Oh, the last big thing, and this is where Super Mario. This is my last pro, and then we'll move on to favorite mini games. Where Super Mario Party failed, the first one for the Switch, but this one succeeded. There are both motion control mini games and non-motion control mini games. And you can only play the motion control mini games if you are playing with a single Joy-Con, which is fine. But if I want to play with my Pro controller, I just turn motion mini games off.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you just turn them off. But I think that's a pro. It doesn't with Super Mario Party. You were locked to a single Joy-Con, and that's not always comfortable for me. And the fact that I have an option, I like the fact that I have options.
Good to have choices.
Yeah. So
my question is for pro or con, and I'm assuming the answer is it's fine because Mario Party is not a big game. But we've been seeing this a lot lately with Switch games, especially like late gen Switch games right before the launch of the Switch 2. How does it run? Is it okay? Have you noticed any lag, anything like that?
only time we've noticed issues, and Allison, correct me if I'm wrong because you played more than me, but the only time we've noticed issues if we're playing online with specific people. When I played online last night with Finn, Smiley, and oh my goodness, I'm Calcifer. Jeez, I was blanking on the name. When I played online with them, we had very minimal lag online. Like, we all had pretty good connections, like a couple stutters here and there. When we played with my brother, we had significant lag in some mini games. And we played with Chase on the first night, and then maybe because it was the first night, he kept dropping connection and had to keep re-entering the game. But it seems to be all online. Allison?
It did hold Chase's place, though, which was interesting. So,
Oh.
After the minigame, he could rejoin.
But he was like a new player.
No, he was the same player.
Same player.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it didn't hold his place.
Oh, it did. Essentially, like, it goes offline, and then the CPU takes over and completes a mini game or goes around the map for him until he rejoins.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
But you didn't notice when you were playing, just you, or you were playing on your Switch that, it was stuttering or lagging at any point?
No.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
I didn't expect it to. It's the same engine as Mario Party Superstars and Super Mario Party. So I didn't expect them to go crazy.
So do you guys want to share your favorite minigame and then your final ranking of the game?
Yep. Allison, you first.
So I have a couple, if that's okay.
Share them all. Yeah, share them all.
Actually, we can start with the ones I didn't like. Those are fewer, if you would like.
Yes, do it.
So this is an older one that they've revisited, I believe, Treasure Divers.
Oh, I hate that one.
It sucks.
Oh
No one likes it.
That one's so boring. Why do they keep bringing it back?
It's so difficult. Oh my god! It's for everyone listening. You're diving down to receive a treasure chest, but you can run out of air, and there's obstacles like a shark and bloopers, and the shark is very fast.
Yeah.
That swims back and forth, and you're trying to drag the treasure chest to the top for your coins, and whoever collects the most coins wins the game. But or no, that's a coin minigame.
Yeah,
You
that is a
usually
coin
all
minigame.
that you earn. But man, it is just so difficult to avoid other people, and then you can run out of air, and
Yeah, I don't care for that one either. That was a very good pick. That one, I have never enjoyed that game. I don't know why they keep bringing it back. Except apparently G likes it. He says it's a skill issue that you don't.
Oh, well.
That's the most G thing I've ever heard in my entire life. What else did you not like?
The other one I don't like is the trample. So it's trampoline, but it's trample-line.
Okay.
It's a new one for this console, and it's so. What are those little ant things called, Blake?
I think they're just I don't remember the name of them, but yeah, it's
Okay, well
the
they're
Mario ants.
purple looking ants, and some of them are wearing like a spike hat, and you're bouncing up and down, and it's going on three sides of the screen, not the top, and they're moving. And so some of them are wearing hats with spikes, and you're bouncing up and down. You have very little control. It's really chance based. There's very
Okay.
much no skill based in that game, and
That
it's
sounds
a little too
interesting. So, like,
difficult.
essentially, if you miss the one that has a hat, you hit the one with a spike and you're out.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was gonna say that trampoline's actually one of my favorites, but I will. Yeah, that's that.
Well, that's just a difference of opinion then.
Yeah,
But
that's the end of that. Games I did not like, and then we'll go into likes. I did not like. Allison already said Treasure Divers. I don't think Treasure Divers is a good time. There's a game called Big Top Quiz where you have three toads rolling on a ball, and there's an image on the other side of the ball. The only reason I don't like it is because it's so difficult to see what image is on there and being able to answer the questions. It feels almost unfair sometimes.
Yeah.
It kind of gets annoying. There was one other one I really didn't like. I wouldn't even say it's a negative. It just wasn't enjoyable. Archer Rivals. It's a motion mini game where you have one player that's using the motion controls to shoot an arrow, and you three are holding giant point dart boards, and you have to like sway back and forth to be able.
This is an old game. Yes.
That is it's an old game redone.
yes.
Yes, the old game is someone is just the archer, and you can see their first person's perspective. They're trying to shoot you, and they're trying to hit all three of you. This one, you all have point boards. The three players have point boards. They're trying to shoot the point boards as you move them, and they have to get to 100 points. But they do not give you enough room to avoid the dart. It feels like it feels like no matter where you move, they hit the dartboard.
And there's no other. There's only the people that are in the mini game. There's not CPUs like in the middle.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
So, not a fan of that one. Allison's favorites.
I really liked the camera ready one. It's probably, I think, one of the best mini games out of this one. So you're in like a stone town square, and you're spinning around, and there's things happening around you. So like, Goombas are jumping rope. There's a toad off in a tower. People are having a picnic. People are sitting on benches, and things are happening around you. And you have to take 3 pictures of specific events, and you zoom in and out of specific events happening.
I like that. That sounds really fun.
Oh, it is.
It's great.
So,
it's very fun.
And it
Do
gets
they
harder.
do they tell you what you have to take the photo of? Like, get a photo of the picnic, or you just like take the best photo you can?
They show a photo in the middle, like of what you need
Oh,
to take a
okay.
picture
So you're
of.
trying to replicate.
But you have to dig for it, and I mean, perfectly zoom in and out. And whoever gets the closest, it's like
The
0 to 100 points for each picture.
and
So
the
a perfect score.
background. Oh, go ahead.
No, just a perfect score would be 100.
Yeah, the other things that affect your points, the background around it. So like if there's a wiggler running around a tree, you want to get in that perfect spot, right, as it's running around the tree. Like it gets difficult at certain points.
That sounds a lot of fun though.
What else you got, Allison?
The hot cross blocks, which I don't think you like this game, so this might be another difference.
I hate this. I don't hate it. It's just I never do well in it, and somehow you never match with anybody, and you get all your blocks, and I don't know how you do it, and how do I keep getting screwed? Go ahead, go talk about it.
Well, I'm not going to reveal my secrets, but with
Please don't.
this, so you're on one side of a map, and there's lava in between, and you are trying to get to the other side, and each round and you go till someone reaches the other side. You pick like it looks, we'll say, a Tetris piece that you're trying to select, and there's 4 options on the right side of the screen. But if you select the same option as someone else, you don't get that, like, the advance
Oh.
of. And so I pick I don't know, we'll say a straight line in the middle, and it's like a Sudoku block, so it's like 3 by 3. So let's say I pick a straight line, 3 lines down the middle, and no one else picks it. I go those 3 steps, and those rocks appear in front of me. But if Blake and I picked that same one, neither of us would get
You
it.
can't progress at all.
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
that sounds really interesting. I think I would like that one.
No, it's very
He's
fun.
really bad at it, like Blake, apparently.
I don't dislike it. I just don't understand how I can't ever get any spaces. I was the same last night too.
Be unique. Stop being like the other girls and pick a different one.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not like the other girls, Emily, as they say.
Yeah, she's special. She's so quirky.
My God.
God bless. Shout out to all the romance
Weirdo.
readers listening. Anyway,
What else did you like? Or was that it?
would you like to talk about Sled to the Edge?
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Because it's actually one of my favorite ones too. Sled to the Edge is you watch 2 toads sledding. They're holding on to little penguins getting to like the edge of an ice block. And you have to pay attention to where one of them lets go. Let go too late, you fall off the edge. Let go too early, you didn't get close enough to the edge to win the game. Whoever is closest to the edge without falling off is whoever wins. So you watch the toads go, you pay attention to the background to know where to let go, and then you let go. It's one of those very simple mini games that somehow is so incredibly fun to play. Absolutely adore it.
I did get within a yard. I was.
did.
That's
Nice.
the record so far.
Is that your new record? Yeah.
It is.
I didn't show you, Allison. I also am now within a yard when I played with Blaine the other night.
Sure you are, bud.
I didn't see it.
It
I did not see
didn't happen.
Allison came to talk about her new record, and you're like, well, I guess nobody saw it, but I did get actually closer than you did.
It's in my
And I'm just
record
revealing
book.
that information now.
You know what? I'm going to quit now. This is not my podcast anymore. I'm leaving. What else, Allison?
I have a couple more, if that's okay. Here, I will pick my favorite ones here. I really like the Pick and Produce. It's a 2v2 game. So there's like 3 conveyor belts, and each conveyor belt represents a fruit.
Okay.
And so I think it's bananas,
Watermelons,
apples,
oranges.
what he said, bananas, watermelons, and oranges. And so they're going toward an end goal and you have to pick up certain fruits and place them on the correct conveyor belt. But it's going pretty fast. I don't think anybody's got a perfect score yet. And you're competing against the other 2 players in order to do it. But it requires some communication back and forth. It sounds simple, but it's actually very fun.
I'm struggling to visualize it, but it does sound very fun. I usually tend to like 2v2 games a lot.
I do too. I in fact, a lot of the rest. I think almost the rest of the game, the ones I'm going to mention, are all 2v2 ones.
Ooh.
Blake, did you have Prime Cut on your favorite list?
I do. So we'll
you can
knock
talk
that
about
off
that
my list too. But yeah, Prime Cut essentially is, you know, those old German, they still exist. There's this German game show that where essentially you're cutting something in half and you want it to be perfectly cut in half. Like they measure weights and whoever's closest wins that game show. They've created that in Mario Party, but with steaks.
Ooh.
You have 3 rounds where you and your partner are cutting a steak in half and trying to get perfect 50-50. And obviously it's not just like, it's just a square. No, they're weird shapes.
They're odd shapes.
Yeah. It's
That
incredible.
sounds cool. I like that idea.
I got
No, and
into
it's
50-50 once.
Oddly competitive, but yeah, it is. It's very fun. It's very simple. Another 2v2 game.
I like that you called it oddly competitive, as though oddly competitive couldn't be the name for Mario Party. Like you could just rename it oddly competitive and like watch people go.
She makes a point, Chad. She makes a
Tell me
point.
I'm wrong. Tell me like Mario Party is just not like a game you start with your friends. We're like, "No, it's fun. It's a little bit of a party. We get these fun characters and we play games together." And then you're like, I'm gonna literally murder you because
I'm
you
gonna
took my
murder
car and now I'm
everybody.
devastated. It's competitive, but not in a way you thought it was gonna be.
Indeed, indeed.
What's next on the list? What else we got?
So, the last one I'll mention here is another 2v2 game. It's called Shadow Play. Blake, do you have this one on your
Ooh.
list?
I do as well. This one's also on my list. Do you want me to go over
Go
it?
ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
So Shadow Play, the way it works is you both have two sets of wheels, and then there's an image in the middle, and you have to get these two images, which are showing as shadows on this lit up screen, kind of like finger puppets people do, and then you take your image and then your partner's image, combine them to make that image in the middle. It
Ooh.
gets chaotic though because you think you did the right thing and you realize you screwed up, and it's very very fun. It's anxiety inducing, but in the good way, right?
I like that.
It's so much fun. It's a good time.
That sounds like a really good one. I have to ask because the chat is asking, how do we feel about the taxi game?
I don't remember the
They would like
taxi
to
game.
know.
I saw that. Which taxi game are we talking about?
Taxi game. I don't know if I've played a taxi game.
Oh.
But I will say I have not played them all for everyone.
I
I
assume
have
you
not played
played
all
this
the games.
with G because he's only played it with you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I know that Tim Walls recently played Crazy Taxi on Twitch with AOC, and I think that's incredible.
Yeah, good for him.
That's phenomenal.
Back to reminder, guys.
Oh, the
Get out there and vote.
Yes, please, everyone.
Please.
carts.
Americans, I will say. Please,
Yeah.
Americans. Go vote.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna quickly go over. I'm looking for these. Allison, look for the cart game. Oh, unless he's talking about two-axis taxi. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, yes. Okay. I liked that one too. It did not make my favorite list, but I did like it. So it's another 2v2 game. The person in I think the front seat goes left and right, and the person in the back seat goes forward and back.
Ooh,
You're
okay.
going along obstacles, just trying to complete the fastest lap. But there are things that are moving. There's barriers. You eventually do complete like a square of a lap, like 360 degrees. But
That sounds like a good one.
it
Good
is
pick.
very fun. When you play with a CPU as your partner, though, my God, do they suck? Oh, it is terrible.
But didn't you guys lose to a CPU the other night?
You know what?
And that game
we don't have to bring it
specifically,
up.
I don't think so.
No, she means overall. She means overall.
Oh,
she's
perhaps.
throwing shade. You know, Emily.
Well, Emily, I don't know. You don't own this
All
game.
right.
I don't know if you can talk to that much shade here.
Yeah, that's true. That's
All right.
true.
To kind of speed things up, because I have a whole nother review to do.
Yeah, we're gonna get to your other review tonight.
I
we're
am
doing
done,
it.
by the
We're
way.
doing it.
I don't have any more mini games to discuss.
Okay. Other mini games I really enjoyed. Sandwiched. Is a platforming mini game. You have a whole bunch of sandwich pieces falling, and you just don't get squished. You have to survive the longest, and it is a blast.
That does sound like
It is a lot of fun. I do love it. I'm shocked Allison didn't mention Snag the Flag. You're on a giant like globe, and there's a bunch of lit up flags around it, and you have to run and get the most flags until they're all collected.
That is a fun one.
like the country's flags.
No, they're flags
No,
that once you
wow.
touch them, that they become your flag. The other one I really like, Cookie Cutters, is a lot of fun. It's a 1v3 mini game. One person has 3 different cookie cutters, and they control them all, and you have to go in order of what's on the screen. But the second one, the 3 players all have one apiece, and you have to like coordinate with them and go at your turn. And the last one is Snowball. It's another 1v3. You have one person with a whole bunch of penguins throwing snowballs at the other 3 players and trying to not get hit by a snowball. It's dodgeball, but with snow and penguins. And it's great.
Dodgeball with snow. I like it.
Allison, what is your final score out of 10?
Out of 10?
And you can give decimals.
I'm going to give it a 9.
Ooh, high praise. That's a high praise.
Strong 9.
Now, aside from like your 0 to 10 rating, because that can be pretty arbitrary, where would you rank this on all of the Mario parties? Do you think this is the best Mario Party?
This might be the best Mario Party. You heard it here first.
That's the rub, everyone. It's the best Mario Party. You heard it here first. Allison has declared it so.
As for my ranking, I'm going to give it 2 different scores. Game as a whole and party game. Game as a whole, I give it a solid 8.7. It definitely has its flaws, but it's a great time. But as a party game, I give it a strong 9.5.
Ooh.
That's fair.
I also agree it is the best Mario Party that has ever existed, and this is coming
Oh.
from me, who has been a longtime Mario Party 4 and 6 stan.
You guys can say that when in Mario Party 2, you literally got to dress up as astronauts and cowboys and witches.
Oh,
You got to like, come out in your little costume and do like a little dance, and
I
then
guess
like
you're
go
gonna
to
have
have a
to.
hoot nanny.
I guess you're gonna have to. We get the Hoot Nanny just without the cowboy costumes.
What's the point?
They do not actually call it a hootenanny anymore. It's like it's a milk something.
It's the milk bar.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what is this woke nonsense? Yeah, well, we can't say
The liberals are coming out canceling the word Hoot Nanny.
No, okay. I don't know why
Mario
that man
is not allowed to wear a cowboy outfit. What is this, Nintendo? Who told you hootenanny was like a bad word?
You know, I'm not sure.
On that note, if I could get only 15 minutes to talk about Metaphor, we could, or 15 to
You
20.
have 15 minutes.
To 20. Give me at least 20.
15 to 20 minutes to talk about Metaphor.
On that note, everyone say goodbye to Allison, and thank you, Allison,
Thank
for
you,
coming and
Allison.
helping us with this review.
We're so happy you were here.
Goodbye and good night.
Goodbye.
A Mario Party expert right there.
I've
I've never met somebody who's so intelligent and knows so much about Mario Party.
You know me.
Yeah, but no, see, like, even you said that Allison has played this new one more than you.
She has. She absolutely, because I've also been trying to get through Metaphor, but it's absolutely true. She absolutely has.
She is the biggest, like, Mario Party fan I know.
G, before you say anything, yeah, I know what I was doing. I knew exactly what was happening, and that was on me. Okay, cool. Time to talk about Metaphor Refantazio. I have still not beat it, but I am
15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, 15 to 20 minutes. I have gotten close to the end. I think I'm literally at the last part. I haven't fought in a god yet, so therefore it's not a JRPG yet. I haven't gotten to that.
Not a real Alice game yet.
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
Sum up the plot? I know that like the basic premise is Persona, but like fantasy. But can you sum up the plot of Metaphor Refantazio in a couple sentences for me?
Yes, I can without any spoilers. Okay, so you have the Atlas team, the Persona team specifically, who says, how can we make a game of this style, but be its own thing? And that is what they did with Metaphor. Like you already said, it is a fantasy style game. You are the protagonist. And
sure, I'd hate to not be the protagonist.
You are the protagonist, another blue-haired boy.
All right, is there a video game out there where you're not the protagonist of the video game?
Technically Silent Hill 2. Try to argue with me there.
He's not a good guy. He's technically the protagonist of the story. But you had me there. I had to think about that one.
Everyone in chat's like, he's not wrong.
Guys, remember, so Allison, remind me when podcast is over. I have some wild stuff to tell you about Silent Hill 2.
Cool. So, the protagonist.
You play the protagonist, yes.
Yes, you name yourself as usual. But the whole goal is that you, at the beginning of the game, you are with this fairy named Gallica. Gallica is essentially your, what's the cat's name? I'm blanking.
Morgana?
Yeah, it's your Morgana, but not annoying as hell. Like, actually a decent character who doesn't annoy the hell out of me. So Gallica is a fairy, and you are something called an Elda. So in this world, there are multiple different races and different tribes, okay? Some have horns, some races have wings, some of them are literal furries, and you think I'm joking? No, they have tails and cat ears or dog ears or rabbit ears.
They're people.
Huh?
But they're people.
Yes. Everyone technically are people. However, they all call themselves part of different tribes. And in this massive world, there is a lot of racism. All these other tribes, like the people I call furries, they're called the Parapus. They are seen as lesser than. They are used for experiments. They are abused. Your character is something called an Elda. Huh? Go ahead.
Saying everything that happens is deserved. I'm saying if I was gonna bully someone in a mythical world, it would still be the furries. And if I was gonna bully someone in this world, it would still be the furries. I'm so sorry, like this is like if the like plot of this game is oh no, we have to stop people are furries, we have to stop it. I'm like, do we? Maybe like they need to go touch grass.
Anywho, continuing on.
Saving the furries.
So you are an Elda, which is seen as the most lesser tribe, like the most terrible tribe to everyone else's eyes. Eldas are seen as very bad luck. They bring curses. They also have no distinguishing factors like everyone else. You look like a normal person, right?
So this is like some Danganronpa. I went to a school of all like excellent people. I had no talent.
Well, there is some reason behind it, but I can't talk about it without talking about spoilers.
Okay.
So,
Continue.
They let you know from the get-go, from the very beginning, there is a prince who has been cursed, and he has been slumbering
from frog.
Huh?
Sorry. No, sorry. I'll stop interrupting.
Yeah, this prince has been cursed, and he's been sleeping for many years. And at the same time, very recently, who they let you know is the villain from the get-go of the game, a man named Luis, murders the king. And with everyone thinking that the prince is dead, even though he's not, the king has set up magic for if something happens when he dies, that everyone, it's essentially in the eyes of the people who becomes the next king, right? It's almost like a popularity vote. And anybody who's on the King's Rock, which is the top 20 people, are immune from being attacked. Like, you can't just kill one of the top candidates. The King's magic will stop it, and you.
Why would you? Wait, back up. Was that a thing we could do? We could just kill people?
What do you mean?
You're like, if somebody is like in line to become king, you can't kill them. Is that something you could do before? I didn't know you could like just like go up and kill people.
In this world, yes. Yes.
I didn't know you had to set rules to be like, whoa, you can't kill this person because they're on the kingdom.
I mean, it's part of the King's magic. The King's magic has done this. And the King's magic is able to check the people's minds and say, okay, this is, in the popular vote, this is who everybody is supporting right now. The evil man himself, his name is Luis. He is in second place at the beginning of this game. And you know he is the villain. And he's believed to have cursed the prince. On top of that, you have the what?
A little Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, essentially. You also have the church. It's the Church of Sanctism. Obviously, it's an allegory to Christianity. There is no way around it.
Of course it is.
And the first, I forgot his, Forden. Sanctus Forden is in first place. He's the leading thing. Everyone sees the church as this high-standing group that's only out for the betterment of everybody, and you have to follow them or else everything will collapse. So those are your main two who are on top of the rock. As you learn all this and you're going, the protagonist figures out, okay, I need to get in line to become king so I can break this curse and get the prince to become king. That's pretty much all I'm going to talk about plot. Without going to spoilers, because if I go any further, you're going to go into spoiler territory. But yeah, you travel this world, this world, and something called a gauntlet runner. It's a giant pirate ship with legs that runs, and it's incredible. It's awesome. So cool. It is awesome. And you, of course, in pure Atlas/JRPG style, you meet different people, you get confidants, you get new party members to bring to your team. And instead of fighting with something called personas, you fight with something called archetypes. What archetypes?
And are they personas?
Not quite. They actually are different. They feel very different.
Tell me how.
The way that archetypes, well, I will say the revealing that you have an archetype is very persona-like. They put their hand in their chest and they pull out their heart that looks like, that is also a microphone, and they pronounce in there that they're going to fight evil.
Pull out their heart that's also a microphone.
Dude, it's kind of sick.
How deep? My heart is also a microphone.
So, talking about archetypes, everyone who unlocks an archetype has their own like special class that they're in. Most of them are based off fantasy classes. You have barbarians. Your protagonist starts as something called the Seeker, which is a swordsman who also can cast magic. There's an assassin who becomes a ninja. Each of these archetypes have different tiers to them as well that you unlock as you do confidants. So some archetypes, even your non-party member confidants, you unlock them by doing their confidant level. A good example, a parapist named Katarina. She gives you the Brawler, which is a fist combat. It is a boxer, essentially. And as you unlock her, you get the Poltergeist, which is the next level. And each of these archetypes can go up to a level of 20. Now, obviously, as you do the confidants, you don't just and you're like, oh, I got the next level of it. You can't just unlock it. Of course, it's not that easy. That would make the game way too easy. I said it wrong. Pugilist? Is that it?
Pugilist.
Huh?
Pugilist.
Pugilist. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
But you said poltergeist. And
I did say poltergeist.
I really thought you meant like a real true poltergeist, like a ghost.
No, you're right.
Like,
I was very wrong.
So for correction for anyone who might be listening to this, Blake was not saying poltergeist.
Rule number 1, Blake can't read. No, Blake's doing his best. Rule number 2, Blake can't read. So it's not as simple as just being able to unlock the next one. First and foremost, you have to get that first level to level 20. That part's pretty easy. You go into battles, you have your own level, and each of your archetypes have a level as you level them up. If you get to that 20, most of the time you can get to the next stage, but some of them have special requirements. Sometimes, if you want to get to the next stage, you have to get level 20 in the Brawler and then level 10 in the Seeker to get to the next stage. So there are some prerequisites. So it kind of forces you to change archetypes constantly to be able to test around. It's almost like a classic Final Fantasy job system where you're able to change the jobs on the fly. And this is where Metaphor stands out. In Persona, each of your comrades, they are stuck to their specific personas, their strengths, their weaknesses. They don't change.
Yeah, they can't change.
Yes, you can change all of your confidants on the fly, like as you need.
So you have more customization.
Correct. Now there are some answers that are more obvious than others. One of your characters, whose name I won't give out because it is a massive spoiler, they have they have a much higher magic stat than a strength stat. So you're going to want to put them in more magic style archetypes.
They're the sleepy prince, aren't they?
Sure.
They haven't been sleeping all along, but actually joined your party.
Another character who has ridiculously high strength, but super low magic. I'm talking like 70 strength and 18 magic. You're not going to want to put them in that position. You're going to put them in the Brawler or put them in the Barbarian classes. It's not a Barbarian. I can't think of the name of it, though. So each of them has their strengths and weaknesses, but it's fun to play around and see what you can accomplish with them. I really, really, really enjoy the archetype system. Kind of more than the Persona system because it doesn't feel like a chore.
Oh.
Before we get into pros and cons, the last thing I want to mention about it, Emily, what was the worst part about Persona 5? Other than Morgana.
The first 6 hours?
No, think of a location that you hated going to.
Oh, Mementos?
Yeah. How bad Mementos
Yeah, that was
sucks?
the worst part.
Right.
That was the worst part.
Anytime you had to do side quests, most of the time you had to go to Mementos. Metaphor fixes that in the best way possible. So it's no longer randomly generated. The way that these quests work is that there's a whole bunch of different temples on the map, right? Different places you go. So as you unlock side quests, they're like, hey, there's this thing here I got to find, or hey, there's this item here I really want to get. Can you go there and get it for me? It is a map that they completely drawn out and built out, not randomly generated. There's secrets in them. There's a bunch of chests. It doesn't feel like the same hallway simulator for multiple floors. It feels like you're actually in a different place and doing a whole lot more than you were doing.
A lot better. I'm not typically a fan of like procedurally generated things. I like something that has been designed and mapped out.
Yes, so they've pretty much mapped out everything. Nothing has been procedurally designed.
Yes, Morgana hate. Why is my cat telling me I can't go outside?
G makes one point. The towers, there are 3 towers that are all the same in design. There is a purpose for it, but once again, not going into it. I don't think G has gotten to that point. He may have, but I don't think he's gotten to that point yet. Cool. Continuing
You have 5 minutes for pros and cons.
Oh, lovely. You gave me so much time. Oh, you're interrupting.
Yeah, I know. If I had just shut up, you would have had so much more time.
Let's talk about pros real quick. I've already talked about one thing right off the bat. We don't get a memento style thing. We get our own different locations for a whole bunch of different side quests. They're really cool. They're really enjoyable. I love them all. 2, leveling up archetypes doesn't feel like a chore. Because 1, there's a whole bunch of level up for specifically not your character, but archetypes, like their little hero seeds that you feed them and they get like 1,000 experience points or 3,000. They can go up levels that way to get to 20 faster. Some of them take longer to level up than others, but that just makes sense.
There are different ways you can do it, too.
Yeah. You don't have to just fight, to do it. One thing that Persona did annoyingly, and you had to unlock a perk for this, you don't have to do this in this. If you go to a dungeon, right? So in Persona, if you go to a dungeon before you unlock Kawakami, you're done. That's all you do. You do nothing else. You can't upgrade any of your perks. Yeah, exactly. For this game, let's say I'm going to a dungeon, and it's a day away because every location is a certain amount of days away because you have to travel there, right? You're not just wasting time going there. On the way to the dungeon, before you do the dungeon, there's a myriad of things you can do there. You can spend a time with a confidant if a confidant, one of your party member confidants, is ready to spend time with you as that's going on.
They're ready to spend time with you.
You can.
I say that to Blake a lot when I want to hang out. I'm like, "Are you ready to spend time with me?"
I always say no. I'm never ready.
Okay, all right. I'll stop interrupting.
Every minute you interrupt, I add another minute.
You gotta be funny sometimes. I think my hat got too pointy. It got too tall.
You can do things like you can read books, which does your royal virtues. Yeah, you know how in Persona you had like your knowledge, your charisma, all that. Yeah. This one has your royal virtues, which are courage, eloquence, knowledge. It's wisdom. Sorry, courage, eloquence, wisdom, imagination, and tolerance.
Okay.
Yeah, which are essentially the same idea, but they're all like they of course go into what makes a good king, right? So you unlock all those. So you can, instead of wasting time, like I really need to level up my courage, I can do something on the ship on the way to a dungeon to do that. All confidants are only 8 ranks versus 10, and I did not feel like I finished them all. I'm not done with the game, but I have finished them all. I didn't feel like I was rushing to do any of them.
But do you feel like you did them too quickly? Like now you have so much more time and you won't be able to do anything more with it.
No, because there's so much grinding I have to do for the final, like one of these trophies, like a secret super boss. I went to fight him and he one-shot us. He did one attack and one-shot us all after I got him down to like a quarter health left. He's ridiculous. So there is plenty to do. They have a coliseum you can go to, obviously when you're not going to a dungeon, where you can Kingdom Hearts style fight. But talk about the last pro and then I'll move on to cons. It's not all turn-based combat. So in Persona, if you are stronger than an enemy and you walk up behind them and you unlock this perk, if you pull off their mask, they're insta-dead. But you had to unlock a perk, blah, blah, blah. In this one, every fight in the main world starts off as like an action RPG combat. You're swinging your sword at them, you're hitting them. If you hit them enough times and they're your level or higher, you put them in a stun state and then you activate turn-based combat. They have a chunk of their health taken off, and then you get a whole 2 turns to hit them. 2 rounds without them being able to attack you. Sometimes you can knock them out of that stun state before the second round, but that just depends on how hard you hit them. But if they're weaker than you, you don't have to unlock anything for it. If you're weaker than you, you go up, you swipe your sword a couple times, they're insta-dead, you get all the benefits. You get experience, you get money, everything. So you're not wasting time. It's way faster paced. Persona felt like such a slog sometimes when it's with the combat. This one doesn't feel like a slog.
Yeah. I feel like turn-based often feels that way when every time you want to like fight any enemy, you're going to have to like enter a new screen, take your turns, and like get the like finishing, because you always get like a finishing sequence, where you get like, oh, you got this much XP and this many coins and this is, what you did, right? And then you get to go back to the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And that can be exhausting. And you're like, I'm not going to fight you because it's not worth fighting you because I don't want to go through all that.
Exactly. Last upside I will talk about. There's probably more I'm not thinking of, but now I'm rushed, and that's just where we're at. Last big
We can
upside.
talk about more next week if need be.
Fair. I really, really enjoy the story, and the music took a second to grow on me. I didn't like it at first, but now that I've heard it enough, and you're not going to get Persona style music, but you shouldn't get Persona style music in this because it's not a high schooler game. It's a fantasy game. Yeah. And the fantasy music is actually really good. After listening to it a couple times, I'm like, no, this slaps. Atlas still knows what they're doing in the music department, even if it's not, Wake Up, Get Out There by Lynn. It's Rivers in the Desert.
Rivers in the Desert.
Right. But this is still, for what it is, it's still phenomenal. One last big pro, which I think is interesting. I'm interested to see where they go with it more. They kind of teased at it. At the beginning, I already said you name your protagonist. But before that, it asks who is viewing and controlling this story. It's asking for your name, which is separate, and it's already gonna play a huge role into the story, and I think it's really interesting.
Break the fourth wall. I love when games break the fourth wall.
It kind of does. It doesn't. I haven't seen the overarching like what it's about yet, but it has broken the fourth wall a couple times, and I love it.
Okay. That's fun.
Talking about major cons, the biggest con, and this is the same con I have with every Persona game, MP management is a nightmare. Health is not your biggest resource in any Atlas game, whether that's Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, or this Metaphor. It's your magic points, because magic determines how well you're able to fight. Without MP, you are useless most of the time.
You're done, though.
And there are just some dungeons, it's no big deal. Like I can brute force my way through it because I'm over leveled. But other ones, if they have slash resistance or they have any type of physical resistances, and I have to rely on magic, but I have no MP. It sucks. It just gets annoying, and they make MP items so limited. I understand why they want to do it. It's a calendar system, which I do enjoy the calendar system because it brings the tension to what's going on. But at the same time, if I want to one day a dungeon, let me one day a dungeon, dude. Let
me go.
The other thing, this is a recent con as of yesterday. I understand these are technically side quests and somewhat super bosses, but even playing on easy, it seems like too much. It's massive difficulty spike. When I did the harder bosses in Persona, at least I felt like if I made a mistake, that was on me. These, like I said, I got to a super boss with them at 1/4 HP left, and I'd been fighting them for 20 minutes. Right, and I finally got all my people's HP all the way back up. I got most of our MP recovered with items that I saved up. And all of a sudden, he's like, super attack that you cannot resist or dodge, and it does 9999 damage, and all of you are instant dead. And I'm like,
is there no Futaba-esque character who can come in and heal or swap characters out?
You can swap characters out from the get-go, which is very, very nice. And then
Futaba will, if all of your party dies except for the main character, swap them out automatically.
No, that does not happen.
Okay.
Gallica does occasionally appear and give you extra turns for your turn. So you have 4 turns, one for each character you have in your party. And she gives you extra rounds sometimes. So you'll get 2 extra rounds, for that turn. But other than that, not really. One other mechanic I really like. If you hit a weakness, instead of you doing a baton pass, it gives you essentially what's an extra turn. Your full turn turns into something called a half turn. It doesn't fully disappear, and your next action, if it's not a weakness, makes that go away. So you have essentially an extra turn.
Fun.
It's good time. And if you miss, you lose a turn icon. It's a good balance.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Finishing cons. I promise, I'm done.
Well, I was just going to ask you, because you've talked a lot about the mechanics and very specifically some of the specific mechanics you can do and things you can do.
Oh.
Did you like the characters in the world?
Most of them, yes. There are a handful, and it's the same with Persona 2. There's ones that when I like them, I really like them. The other ones, I don't really dislike them. I just think they're kind of meh. But for the most part, I really enjoy, I guess, a good example. One of the first characters you meet, Hulkenberg. You see her in the first sections of the intro. Hulkenberg is this giant elf-type character with red hair. And you think she's just this badass who's serious all the time. But then you learn she's not. She's just kind of a softie who loves food and will eat literally anything. Every monster you slay, she's like, can I souffle this? And it's incredible. I love her.
I love that energy.
That is the same. That's what I want. And then your best friend, he's your best friend character. He goes by Stroll. He's kind of just fine. I don't dislike him, but he's kind of just fine. Those are the examples I'm going to give for that.
I was just curious.
I do like all the outside social links. There was none I'm like, I don't want to spend time with this person. Like in Persona 5, I never wanted to spend time with Mishima. I'm like, I'm going to spend time with somebody else. In this game, I'm like, oh, shit, Barden wants to hang out? Hell yeah, dude. Let's go talk about governorship.
I didn't even finish Yusuke's, like, confidant thing.
Oh, yeah, you played Royal, so you didn't have to.
I didn't get him. All my friends, like, I get a special goodbye with all my friends. Yusuke wasn't there because I never wanted to hang out with him.
No, but for the most part, I do really like the characters. Last thing I'll leave it on, and I'll give a rating. This is not a con. This is one more pro I forgot. This is not anything substantial. It doesn't really matter, but it's just cool. If you're not in a dungeon and you're in one of the main towns and you want to go fast, you can sword surf. You just jump on your sword and go faster.
That's
and it's
cool.
Awesome.
That's
for
cool addition.
no reason. I love it. Cool. Final ranking. And I'm actually agreeing with critics. At first, if we would have done this last week, I'll say this first. If we would have done this last week before I've gotten to where I have gotten now, and now that the story's ramped up because I really like the story, I probably would have given it an 8.7. 8.87, okay. 8.8. I am up to a 9.4.
Wow.
It is an incredible experience. It's Persona enough, like the idea of the Persona games that I really like, they kept them all there, but it's unique enough to be its own thing and not feel like a copy or a rehash of what they've done before.
Where would you rate it in comparison to how you liked Persona 5? Do you like this better?
I don't think it's fair. If we're talking about mechanics, yes, absolutely. If we're talking about like game mechanics and battle system and all that, absolutely. It's leagues better. There's no questions. Okay. If we're talking story, I don't think it's fair to compare only because they're two different settings. And Atlas does an incredible job. I would put them, I put Persona 5 and Metaphor on the same level on my enjoyment of the story. Especially with the twist.
Pretty high praise.
It's incredible. And I'm making you borrow my copy at some point. And you will play. Well, okay. You still haven't even played Persona 3, and I got you that, so.
I know, I still need to play that one. There's a lot of Persona games, man. They're just so long. They're so long. I love Persona 5. It absorbed so much of my life. But they're so long, and I have so many games on this list. I still have to play Baldur's Gate 3. Veilguard comes out tomorrow, and next year we have both Shadows and Ghost of Yotei. Like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Like, Shill's games are short. I actually probably be playing one of those tomorrow as well.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. If I may have 2 minutes.
You may have 2 minutes, even though we said 15 to 20 and we're at 30, so.
I just want 2 minutes. Because not last week, because we canceled last week, the week before, we talked about the Silent Hill 2 remake, and at that point I had not beat it. So I couldn't give a full picture of how I felt about the story.
She beat it Monday.
And I did. Was it? Oh yeah, it was Monday. Mm-hmm. Or Sunday. It was Sunday.
Sunday.
I beat Silent Hill 2 on Sunday after like a 5-hour stream. I think it was my longest stream ever. And so I just want to give a final recap of how I felt about the game. It was very, very good. Hats off to the Blooper team. They made Layers of Fear and The Medium, which were known to be very good games, but like very jump scare heavy. There's no action in those games. So I think a lot of people were hesitant about how well Blooper would do at making an action game. And I think they did a phenomenal job. I loved the story. I thought the story was so interesting. Even now, there's stuff I'm learning, like little tidbits. I won't give too many spoilers away, but there's one point where every time you save the game, you get to this load screen, and it's this red screen, and the character's looking at you. And when you reach a certain point in the game and you find out some information about that character and you learn a little bit more, your protagonist, James, he actually won't look at the camera anymore. He like specifically looks to the side and won't make eye contact with you anymore because he's ashamed of his actions that you, the player, now know. And that's like a fun fourth wall breaking thing I enjoy. There's some other big spoiler stuff that I won't get into, but I thought the story was really interesting, and like This is what I love about horror games is they never just hand you a story. You have to work for it. You have to put pieces together. You have to connect the dots. You have to have these theories. And so I think it did a phenomenal job with that. I have been watching lore videos and things like that. So phenomenal job. As far as how scary I thought it wasn't that scary, especially, and this was one of my big complaints, it only had 3 real enemy types, and those enemy types were recycled consistently throughout the entire game. They never really added anything new or scary. I was getting VVs and Mildreds all over the place, man, and by the end of the game, I was just like, okay, more of you, whatever. Um, so I wish they had had a little more diversity in what they threw at you. And my other big complaint was just that a lot of the game felt very similar. You went to a big building full of 50 different rooms and you explored them one by one by one by one, and then you went back to them all in the other world. It got a little dry and repetitive but the puzzles were really interesting and I thought the story was great. I'm going to go back and replay it and get a different ending. And I'm very excited to do that. So those were just some final thoughts on Silent Hill 2.
And that is the pod. Oh wait, gotta give it a score. Give it a score.
Oh, I got a 9.1.
That's high. That's good.
Yeah, maybe high 8s. I don't know. I like it was a very good, well polished, well made game, and I think this is a game that I'm gonna like more the more I play it. The more like because I'm gonna go back and play this again, but the more I like find little secrets here and there and like piece more of the story together and all the little details that you can tell the team really put into it. Sorry, my cat's here. I think I'll love it more and more. Right now, I really did like it, but I'm kind of sitting on it. It felt like a drag sometimes with how long the sections were, but I think this one's gonna go up in time. Right now, I'll say it's like an 8.7. Okay. I think as I play it more, it will earn its like 9.1.
Valid. She's got to get that platinum trophy.
It's not Madison and it's not PT in terms of how scared I was.
It's not Visage.
You know what? It's better than Visage. Visage was good, but it was a very clunky, poorly put together game. But it was still scary.
It's crazy. You've always called it Visage, and I heard someone recently on the other podcast gaming podcast I listened to, Co-op 64, collaborate with us. They called it Visage, and I'm like, is that right?
Heard Visage, Visage.
It's not Visage.
It's not, but I've heard people say it. Nobody knows how to pronounce that game. If you know, I think it's Visage. But hey, to each their own. That Visage was a good horror game, but anyway, that will probably be a topic for another time. My dream topic for this week was to talk about the scariest games, but maybe tomorrow, if you all are around, I will potentially be streaming PT and maybe some indie horror, and maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe while we stream and play horror games and get scared, we'll talk about the greatest hits in horror and why they were so good.
Are you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it right here on the podcast channel? You don't have to.
Podcast. I might do it on my channel just because I have all the information. I have everything set up already, and I wouldn't have to change any of the like layouts. But
valid.
So keep informed. I will be updating that on Discord. So tomorrow night we'll be probably playing some horror and talking about horror's greatest hits. Also, I'm just gonna send this message. Bean put his butt on the keyboard, and that's what he wrote. So it's very
on that note, we are calling it because we are very over. I mean, this just acts like we did after party, even though we don't really do that anymore because we talk to chat. That being said, if you're new here and you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe here and you go and follow us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Podstation64. You can follow Emily at twitch.tv/EmilyJean33. She streams again. Crazy.
I do. And not only do I stream again, I stream consistently, and I stream for really long periods of time, guys. 5-hour stream on Sunday.
She's doing better than I am. You can find me at twitch.tv/TheBeardedBlake Show, where somehow I was coerced by my brother to play Fortnite tomorrow. Send help.
Why? What? Why?
You know what? I don't mind. I don't hate the game.
Fortnite on your Halloween? You were playing Fortnite?
Halloween's my least favorite holiday, dude. You know this.
All right.
No, that's a lie. It's my second least favorite holiday.
What's your least favorite then?
Easter.
Oh.
It's just fine.
Okay. I will say to all of our listeners and followers, please have a wonderful and very, very safe Halloween. Make good choices, but also cause chaos, because that's the day for it.
And if you're watching this on Friday, then it's November. Welcome to November. So sorry we're late. We won't skip another week. We're going to try not to. We got to figure out what I don't know what next week's topic's going to be, but we'll figure that out.
We do know what next week's topic is. We will be talking about Life is Strange Double Exposure.
Oh, did you already play it? Are you...
Not yet.
Well, we're going to have it in, and I know I have to go pick up Mario and Luigi next week.
Yesterday, so we got a lot to do. We'll be, well, it might change, but in the next couple weeks, we'll be talking about Life is Strange Double Exposure, along with Dragon Age the Veilguard and Mario and Luigi Brothership. So those are our next big 3 reviews. So,
and I think that's the end of reviews for the year. I think.
Oh, dang, yeah, it might be. Because now Assassin's Creed Shadows has been postponed. So, yeah, that might be end of game reviews for the year.
And then we talk about Game of the Year shit. Yay!
I can rest. I can have peace.
And she can play Persona 3 finally.
I want to be done with game reviews by the time the Dreamlight Valley DLC hits shops on November 20th. Because after that, I'm done. It's over. You won't hear from me for ages, weeks even. You will not hear from me. I will be in the Dreamlight Valley DLC with the little Pegasus companions and the little dragon companions that they're giving. So, cheers.
On that note, we'll see you guys next week. Okay, bye everybody. Have a wonderful time. Bye. Don't do anything stupid tomorrow. Bye.